So I'm here with Chris Melink, top Dish One satellite sales rep. Thank you for joining Can't Knock This, and excited to have you here.
Absolutely, I'm stoked to be here, for sure.
So let me give you a little background on Chris, just because he probably doesn't want to brag about himself. Well, actually I'll make him do it, fine. But a little background on Retro. Look at this, I'm wearing a legitimate platinum sweatshirt right now. I just thought I'd throw that plug in there because the antiques are they are there. That was my first.
It's like a Goodwill special right there.
Yeah, Goodwill special right here. No, but thank you for joining. So tell us a little bit about you and your story of how you got into door to door and kind of what you've done.
Yeah. So like a lot of guys, my first summer was 2010. I was recruited out of Boise State. I was going to school over in Idaho, and I had a really good friend that the year before had gone off and sold a bunch of accounts and made a bunch of money. And previously to that, he'd actually tried to recruit me that summer before. And he told me like, hey dude, come out. I'm selling alarm systems. They say we'll make 20 grand, 25 grand. And I told my parents about it, and they thought like it was illegal or something like that. That it was like I was gonna be selling drugs or something. They thought there's no way any kid could go out and make that much money. So I didn't go out the summer before that. And so that summer of 2010, he came back and, after his first year and had killed it, made a ton of money. And, at that point, like I was hooked. I saw what he had done. He showed me his bank statements, showed me the kind of money he made, showed me his 1099.
Easy recruit.
Yeah.
You're an idiot, dude.
Yeah.
This is where it's at.
It was one of those things where we were super good friends and I trusted everything he did. And, again, like when you see a guy come back after his first summer, like his confidence, not only the amount of money he made, but his confidence and his, his swag and all the stuff he had. And, you saw these pictures all year long about like, oh, look at our team, look at all the things we're doing. And at that point I was sold. I was like, dude, I got to do this. I got to get involved.
So you did alarms for how long?
Yeah, I did alarms for 2.5 years. I did 2 full summers and then a full preseason. Had a really good experience. I started off, I think the big difference between me and a lot of other guys you'll probably interview was, it took me a long time to get this thing figured out. My first year I did like 75 alarm accounts. My second year I did like 85 or 90.
So you weren't like top rookie, baddest day out there.
Yeah, dude, and that's the big thing is a lot of guys feel like in this job either you got it, you don't. And I'm a perfect example of somebody who started off. I made like 19 grand my first summer, which is a good summer, but I wasn't out there hitting home runs, So
tell us about your first door. And then we'll go first week.
So my first door, I actually went out and sold in Bakersfield, California on a blitz over spring break 2010. I did great. That first week I actually sold and installed 5 accounts, which everybody told me was great, right? So that was good. Made 2 grand that first week, and I was like, sweet, I got it figured out, right? Like I got it all figured out. I'm sure I'm over the learning curve at this point. Summer came around. I went out like May 1st after I got done with Boise State. And 5 or 6 straight days in a row bagel.
And that's when you call mom.
Yeah, I did. I called my parents and you're like, hey, maybe I lost it, or like this area's harder, or, like I just can't figure it out. And so it's crazy how every single doubt you can even think of starts coming into your head. That week, that Friday, I was packing my stuff, and my manager at the time and my best friend Eric Chatterton was like, dude, you can't go home. Like, get a sale today. I know today's your day. And I was like, oh, dude, I don't know. I think I want to be a technician. Like maybe I'll be a technician. Like that.
You'd make a good tech.
Yeah, I look like a tech. Definitely. Yeah. I went out that Saturday, sold 1 account, got 1 account, like the biggest laydown ever. And that was like the floodgates opened up. Like I could see like things just all of a sudden started clicking. And my goal at that point was like, dude, I'm never going to go a day without selling. And so I just want to keep that momentum up and kind of picked it up from there. And I went 3 months and sold, 65 or 70 accounts. So
that's awesome.
Super good first summer. And, I even share with a lot of guys now, like I even classic posted like a Facebook post when I was about to quit. I was like, couldn't sell, ice to a snowman, and was like, about to quit. And I even show that to the guys like these days when I'm out training, like, dude, I was this close to quitting, and it's completely changed my life that I didn't quit.
So how did the transition happen from alarms to satellite?
Yeah, so I sold 2 summers in a row with Vivint, and then that third year I sold all preseason, and then I wanted to finish my college degree. I was almost done with graduating college. And so I didn't go out for the summertime. I wanted to finish. I had 3 classes left to do and I wanted to be done. And so in the summertime that year while I was working part-time, I had a good buddy of mine, Dylan Davis, reached out to me and was like, hey, I'm running a team in Boise selling satellite. You should come try it. It's a really easy sale. You'll make, $5,000 a month or whatever. Yeah. And so I went out and I sold part-time that summer.
Because it was able to let you finish school.
Yeah. It literally, the only reason I moved over to satellite, it just fit into my schedule. So went out and sold full-time and then was like, wow, this is really easy. Guys are doing really well. I like the company. And so starting September 1st of 2013, I was full-time from there. So that's kind of been, every year since then. So that was kind of my transition from security to satellite. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
So what was your experience in satellite? So you did it part-time and then your first full summer, what did that look like?
Well, so going back to that first September when I signed on full-time, I was broke as a joke. I had no money, September of 2013. So my whole goal was I want to learn this thing as fast as possible. I happened to be learning from the top rep from the year before that, Dylan Davis. And so I sold full-time, like a regular job in the preseason that year. So September, October, November, December, all the way through the year. And then when the summertime came, I had the most preseason sales in the company and I felt pretty primed to go out and kill it. And that first summer really nobody knew my name. I was top rep that year. So summer of 2014, I was the top sales rep in the company.
So how many did you finish with for the year?
So that year I sold 601. So I did 140 in the preseason and then everything else in the summertime.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so 460 something that in the summertime and then 140 in the preseason. So.
And then the next year, what'd you do?
The next year I sold less preseason, but I installed 463 on the summertime. Wow. So I sold well over 500 installed, funded 463. So.
What'd you do for the full year?
Somewhere in the 550s, something like that. Okay. So.
And were you top rep again?
I was top rep again. Yep, I was top rep in 2014, top rep in 2015. So.
Cool.
Yeah.
And now you have moved into more of a different role in the company. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so I've always been interested in training and putting content together and developing systems. And so probably all the way back after my first big summer, I realized I had an interest in that and knack for helping guys, not only helping guys learn on the doors, but helping put together the right systems that it takes for a company to be successful, developing sales reps, developing managers, developing regionals. And so I started working with offices after that first big summer, just going out to them and working with them. And then as I transitioned to 2015, after my second big summer, the company reached out and said, hey, would you be willing to come on full time and help run the training department? And so I was interested. So that's kind of what I did. I mean, but at that time I traveled around 6 straight summers and I was interested in doing something new and big challenge. So yeah.
And you just moved to Utah.
I just moved to Utah.
Welcome to Zion.
Yeah.
Loved it.
Yep, absolutely.
So let's go through, what have you kind of done since you've been in this?